let's see what overchoice looks like. I'll also be doing this in Mandarin. 有一天学中文，可是我最近看完了这个567，所以我应该要去找其他的东西可以看。可是这里很多都是欧美的电影和节目，比如说《Money Heist》，这不是西班牙的吗？还有，我不想看什么欧美的东西，我想看亚洲的电影和节目。那其他的网站可是《名侦探柯南》，但这个有太多剧，已经到了1200亿话，我不能看完了它，那我就看完了它，那我可以看白奥普呢。可是这是大陆的，我想是台湾中文的，那我就看 Refold， 应该有好的东西可以看。动画，台湾，这里没有东西，没有动画就是台湾的。那算了，我可以看实际真人的东西，电视节目。可是，呃，这都是恐惧和什么那个杀人案件的东西，太恐惧、太恐怖。还有，我正在看这个，我想找什么其他的东西，在一边看。那 YouTube，该怎么看？小时候有个新的影片，可是我想看我最喜欢的 VTuber，但我应该不要看太多 VTuber，因为他们不是真正的语言，他们只是说什么动漫的，有那个动漫的声音。虽然有个可是他是大陆的，查理可是，这个已经很短，我不想看他，现在看他。那这个 podcast 呢？这个博客，可是博客的就是我应该要一边做东西，比如说走路，就可以看他们。那算了，我就跟其他的人对话，因为我看不到什么好的节目和 YouTube 影片，所以我就应该现在要练习我说话。那没有讯息，我的邮件没有人想跟我对话，那怎么办？我没有东西可以看，还没有人想跟我对话，算了，我就放弃了，我不学中文了。So, first thing you want to do is actually know how to find content in your target language, because if you don't know how to do that, what's the point of watching this video? Check out this video here where I give you some tips where how to find some target language content, and there's going to be a section on that, even though it's a pretty long video. But if you already know, let's move on. The first thing you want to know is your looking for content time actually just a form of productive procrastination? Because it may not be as obvious as first, because it may seem like, oh, I'm looking for content right now. If I'm looking for content, that means I'm being productive, because that means my immersion will do better. But don't lie to yourself, because sometimes you will have times where you look for content and you actually look for content more than you actually immerse. And immersion, aka consuming content, is the best way to acquire a language, not looking for content. And sometimes you have to ask yourself this: is the content that I am watching actually something that is enjoyable and good for my level? If the answer is no, I can understand, then look for some content, be my guest. However, the more common second reason is because we sometimes just have irrational fear or sometimes constant worrying. For example, I have a story that's related to the skit. When I was watching Inuyasha, which is a Japanese TV show, but it was dubbed in Mandarin, I was nearing the end of it. I was suddenly realizing, with this fear of a scarcity mindset, where it was like, oh, I don't have anything good to watch after this, I better look for more content. Yes, I did find some more good content after looking for quite a while. However, it took up so much of my time that I actually found myself having big chunks of time almost every day where I was trying to look for content rather than immersing content, instead of just being happy with what I had. And keep in mind the things I already had were actually quite fun to watch. Like, for example, Detective Conan. It's actually a nice show. Go watch it if you're learning Mandarin or Japanese. But other than that, you have to also ask yourself again is, are you just having some sort of irrational fear of just having a scarcity mindset? I'll talk about more about an abundant mindset in the next section. But in order to solve this productive procrastination is either actually find good content to watch, and the best solution, and it can work for either of these two problems, is to simply schedule your time with finding emergent content. Yeah, it's simple as that. Solves both problems because number one, you'll actually know you'll have some time to actually I can have some time to actually look for content when you're in those dry spells of nothing is actually worth watching. And two, when you do have this fear, you already know, oh, I probably can just watch. I know that right now it's immersion time. I don't need to worry about immersing right now and running out of content because I know on, let's say, Monday afternoon, I will spend 1 hour looking for content and I won't run out. Simple as that. So even though you are having this new mindset, and even though you do schedule some time to put in your immersion for, let's say, every week or every month, you can still find some times where it just naturally comes to you where, oh, I just want to like look for some stuff in immersion right now, or you actually do find a piece of content in your immersion and you want to like look for it right now. And to simply solve this, if you're watching this video in full screen, pause it, go up, like get a Google Docs right now, and then what I want you to do is simply just type out what you want to search. And then after you're done watching this video, or when you're in your next immersion session, then just search up those things instead. And then after you're done immersing and watching this video, search up those things, and then you could spend the time to actually look for those pieces of content, or actually better, just take those things and put them in the time where you actually go and look for content, the scheduled time where you look for content. And even will save you some time because you don't probably need to go on a big shopping spree of random resource documents, although those things are actually pretty cool. But you already now have like a shopping and a grocery list of, oh, I'm looking for this thing. So you're probably going to be a bit more intentful in what you're looking for. So now that you've already gotten all your productive procrastination defeated and you actually have scheduled your looking for content time, we now have to address another question, which is you have to now know that not all pieces of content will be perfect. Even though I stress that you meet 3 criteria, which I'll explain briefly, which is comprehensibility, enjoyment, and density. Density, just another way of saying that how much language is there in a given piece of media. For instance, an audiobook will have a lot more language in it rather than a TV show, because TV shows, they have some action scenes and blah, blah, blah. But the thing I want to emphasize is that no matter what level you are, you're never going to find the perfect piece of content that satisfies 100% of all of these. Will you get close? Yes, you will. And it really does feel awesome when you do. But you also have to know that not everything is going to be perfect. It really does sound like common sense, but this is also another reason why that you can get so wrapped up with finding content here and there. So, for example, when I was finishing with Inuyasha as well, when I was looking as well, I wanted something perfect. I wanted something, let's say, with a Taiwanese dialect, and I wanted like TV shows, something a bit more action related. These aren't really bad things to have, and it's not a bad thing to have a set of rules when you're immersing, let's say, a target dialect, so that you don't go and develop like a mixed accent, especially if a language has a bunch of accents. But you also shouldn't be so picky to the point where it's like even the slightest change in like a piece of genre is going to like throw you off, and you're not even going to try the piece of content anymore. Also, you have to ask yourself as well, even goes back to the productive procrastination section, are you even trying the pieces of content that you are looking for? And if the answer to that is no, then please do so. It's not really going to hurt you if you just watch a piece of content for like 20 minutes. The worst you're going to get is just 20 more minutes of immersion, and hey, maybe you may even find the best piece of content ever that you just didn't know, or maybe you were just too scared to look at. Also, just to contrast this perfection mindset and having rules too many strict rules. I do agree that yes, you should have a little bit of rules, but you should also have something what's called an abundance mindset. An abundance mindset is where you already know that there's going to be a lot of things in the language. You're not really worried about if you're just finding the perfect thing right now, and you're just not stressed at all. You just be like, oh, maybe I'll just come across it one day. And especially now with the internet. I mean, come on, it's 2025 and there's so much pieces of content, so many creators. Even for smaller, less known languages, you'll at least probably find one or two like YouTube channels that actually capture your interest and really hook you. So you should really have this abundance mindset. And the final thing is that it's not really going to also kill you if you just close it and come back tomorrow. Yes, just stop looking for content and just come back tomorrow. It's also simple as that. Like I said, we are all humans, so it can be sometimes where you sort of like don't find it and you just sort of think about it all day and you're just like, oh, can I find it tomorrow? Yes, you can probably find it tomorrow if you just relax yourself and don't try to think about it all day. Not only will it save you so much mental energy when you're immersing, also Stephen Krashen also mentioned this as an effective filter, where if your anxiety is higher, it's less likely we're actually going to be consuming more things of the language that you're. But also, it does save a lot of mental fatigue that can come where you're not satisfied with something just because you just didn't find it today. Sometimes before, I even had this problem a lot of times where I wanted to find this piece of, let's say, dubbed anime, for example, and like I just go on this wild tangent of just like looking for a dub, just looking for it. And sometimes I wouldn't even be satisfied if it would be on, let's say, a website I already know. For example, in Netflix, I wouldn't be satisfied if it was on Netflix. I want it on this website instead. It could be so unreasonable like that. So I just want you to be aware of this. So in conclusion, yes, we are all humans and we do have this overthinking anxiety, but if you apply these mindsets to looking for content, then I assure you that it's going to really help you with your overthinking and you'll be able to beat it and find content more quickly. Not only will you find content more quickly, but you can also just relax and enjoy immersion more. Sometimes the best times when I'm actually immersing is that I don't even care that I'm running out of content or there's like so little of it, but rather I'm just relaxing and I know the next time when this show ends or once I've hit a new level that there's going to be a lot of other things waiting for me. So also the last thing I want to talk about is I'm currently working on a course. It's a project that I've just started and I'll be putting in the link in the description. We have a road to explore. 我们的旅程刚刚开始. Thank you for watching.